Good day, everyone. Today, we were going to talk about global cities and globalization. In this discussion, we will explain why globalization is considered a spatial phenomenon, identify the key attributes that make a city global, and analyze how cities act as engines that drive globalization. Let's explore how the world become more connected through these global cities. Globalization is not only about ideas and culture, but also about physical spaces, especially cities. Globalization is special because it happens in real places where investment, buildings, and people move. For example, as cities develop through foreign investment, new businesses, and skyscrapers, poorer people are often displaced. Cities also make globalization possible because they are centers of production, trade, and culture, like Los Angeles for movies or Tokyo for technology. They both shape and are shaped by global forces. As more people live in urban areas, expected to reach 66% by 2050, cities become the main places where people experience globalization in their daily lives.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Crisol Janitica Bonillas, your reporter on defining the global city. So, global city is a city that serves a primary node in global economic network, where global city is big and important city that connected to the whole world through business, culture, and communication. Kung maingon mong gutag primary node, ang primary node kay mo na siya ang main center or hub where the most important activities happens. Like dira ang mga business, culture, finance, and communication. And kung mag-iyon po tag primary node, ang primary node manggod kay mo na siya ang ga-connect sa mga smaller cities. And the most ay the best fit sa global city kay ang New York because New York have the ability to play a role or to lead sa mga smaller city because na sila ang mga big companies. Samot na ang New York Stock Exchange where siya ang pinaka-tako nga stock sa tibuok kalibutan. So, ang nag-ingon nga ang New York ang pinaka-fit para mahimong global city kay si Saskia Sansen, where she is a sociologist and a professor who make a book that became famous, The Global City. So, where she identified three cities where it's New York, London, and Tokyo. Where mo na yung nabutang, ay mo na yung gibutang nga cities because mo na ang like have the ability to lead lead para sa samot na sa mga economics, finance, because sa kanang tulo ka cities na dira ang mga big companies samot na sa New York yun. So that will be all in my part, and thank you for listening.
Good day everyone. I am Kizer Kasinabi Dagbay and I'm going to tackle the indicators of global cities. So, mo ni siya ang mga indicator or timaylan nga ang usa ka country or place is global city. So, first is economic power. So, mo ni siya if unsa ka strong ang economy sa usa ka city. Ang mga cities nga dako ug economy kay mga tabang bitaw sila control sa mga business nga ga-trade around the world. So, for example ani kay ang New York. Kay ang New York na cities powerful bitaw siya tapos kabalo siya mo handle og a lot of world's money. And second is economic opportunities. It means how many jobs or opportunity and chances to grow nga naa nga city. Ang mga city nga gatag bitaw og opportunity sa mga workers. For example, mga skilled jobs like doctors, engineers, and designers. So, kani si economic opportunities kay importante siya because katong city nga maka-attract og talented people kay ma-become more creative and powerful. Because tungod sa mga smart workers, they bring ideas and skills bitaw para pod ang city is mas mo improve. So, for example, ani kay ang London, kay halos mga professional workers kay dito bitaw nagtrabaho, especially ang mga Filipino nurses kay nagadto sa dito kay nabitay better job og sakto nga mga sweldo. So, in short, ang city nga daghan opportunity mura siya magnet bitaw nga makapol og mga talented people who wants better jobs. And third is economic competitiveness. It means how well a city does compared to others. Ang natawon ani is ang mga size bitaw sa market, kung how many customers and how many people can spend. So kani si economic competitiveness is importante bitaw siya kay if ang city is competitive, dali bitaw siya maka-attract og mga big companies for investments and maka-offer bitaw siya high quality of life, tapos kung successful bitaw siya over time. One of example alino kay ang Singapore, because Singapore nga city is na siya strong market, honest government, and high quality of life. Tapos ang mga business bitaw nga nasa Singapore is competitive diri sa Asia. Lastly is political authority and influence. This is all about how much power a city has. Katong mga cities where dito ginahimo ang mga meetings sa governments or international organizations. Maka-influence bitaw sila og laws and policies. Example is Washington DC, center of political power in the United States. Second is Jakarta. It's the headquarters of ASEAN, which leads in Southeast Asia. So katong mga politically powerful na mga cities is dito bitaw sila gamit ang mga leaders para bitaw mag-make og mga choice nga maka-affect sa many countries or people.
Global cities are not centers of finance, trade, but also important of hubs of education, knowledge, and culture. These cities attract the students, researchers, and the cultural institutions all over the world, making them where ideas, creativity, and innovative thrive. The best example of global cities is London. London serves as a centers of learning and culture. It is home to world famous universities like Universities of Oxford, University of Cambridge, and the London School of Economics. Cultural diversity means having a different traditions, cultures, languages, and beliefs within in the society. It promotes respect, understanding, and unity among people from different backgrounds.
Good day everyone, I am Julia Jane Enconson. Today I will be discussing about the challenges the cities face. As more people move to cities, problems also increases. According to the United Nations, by the year 2050, about 68% of the world's population will live in cities. That means more people, more buildings, and more pressure on our resources and the environment. Now let's look at the 5 challenges one by one. First is environmental threats. As cities grow, they face stronger environmental problems like floods, typhoons, heat waves, and even diseases. Because cities are crowded and full of buildings, disaster can cause huge damage and loss of lives. For example, in Manila, floods often happen during strong rains because drainage systems are blocked and there are fewer trees to absorb the water. So this situation causes traffic, damage homes, and affect many families, especially those living in low areas. They also lead to health problems due to dirty flood water. These show how important it is for the cities to prepare and build resilience against environmental threats by improving waste management, planting more trees, and planning better drainage system to protect communities and reduce the impact of future disasters. Second one is resources. Cities need water, food, and energy to survive. But as more people move in, the demand for these resources increases also. When cities expand too quickly, they often destroy farmlands and water sources. This leads to the higher prices for basic needs, especially for the poor people. So for example, like Kapit Town, almost run out of water because too many people live there and use too much water. The weather is also changing, causes less rain and more droughts. When cities grow too fast, trees and farms are removed to make space for buildings. This makes it harder for the land to store resources. Because of these problems, cities can lose the resources they need to live, like clean water and clean food. So the third one is inequality. Inequality means that some people have a lot while others have very little. Because in big cities, rich people can live in nice houses, go to good schools, and see good doctors. But on the other hand, poor people often have to live in small, crowded places or even under bridges because they can't afford better homes. So, for example, in Manila, families live near railways or under bridges since houses are too expensive. This is unfair and it can cause problems like people getting angry, more crime, or protest if the city doesn't help everyone have a fair chance to live well. And if you're wondering nga nung matawag og unfair, labi na sa mga tao nga nag-work og hard, it's true that many rich people work hard to earn what they have. But inequality is just not about effort. It's also about opportunity. Because some people are born with more chances like better educations, safer homes, and access to good jobs, while others grow up in poor areas where it's hard to find work or go to good schools. So even if both the rich and the poor work hard, their starting points are not the same. That's why it still counts as inequality, because not everyone has a fair or equal chance to succeed. So the fourth one is technology. Technology can make cities smarter and more efficient. For example, in Singapore uses solar energy, smart traffic system, and eco-friendly buildings to make the city life better. Technology can also help the elderly or everyone. Like for example, sensors in their homes can call for help when needed. However, not everyone can afford or understand modern technology. Poor residents may be left behind, creating a new kind of inequality, a digital divide. For instance, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many students in the developing countries couldn't join the online classes because they had no gadgets or internet. That's why the technology is a challenges for global cities. The fifth one is governance, or the last one. As cities grow larger and more diverse, leaders must make smart decisions and listen to the people's needs. Governments must ensure fairness, sustainability, and safety for all. For a good example, in Singapore is known for its effective city planning and transparent leadership. The city invests in housing, clean energy, and public transport. This shows that when leaders plan carefully, cities can become organized and livable. But in some parts of the Philippines, city leaders don't always plan well or listen to the people's needs. Sometimes there are the problems like corruption. Kaya imbis ang katong mga kwarta nga ipang kuan sa public projects, ginakawat nila or gamit nila sa mali na way. For example, in Metro Manila, traffic is very bad and flooding often happens because of the poor city planning and lack of proper waste management. So, this shows that what can happen when leaders don't manage the city properly. It becomes harder and less comfortable for people to live in. So, These challenges are connected. Solving one can help fix another. If governments, businesses, and citizens work hard together, cities can become safer, greener, and fairer places to live. The goal is just not to build bigger cities, but to build better ones for everyone. And that's all for my discussion, and I will going to give the floor to my co-reporter.
So good day everyone. Today we're going to tackle about the global city and the poor. So as discussed by my co-reporter, the global city is an important city, a well-known worldwide city, and it is a center of the money, businesses, and culture. So basically, global city is a rich city. So what is the poor? The poor is about the citizen living in the global city. So why is that there are poor citizen in the rich city? It's because the living cost of the global city is expensive. So katong mga tao nga walay tarong nga trabaho, gagmay sweldo, is kuan maglisod sila afford sa basic needs like food, shelters, and many more. The next is the globalization and inequality. So globalization leads to a massive inequality. So why is that? So kabalo man ta sa differences sa kuan equality and equity sa pagkuan ta diba pag kaning pag ato nato sa God, the equality there is all of the people in the world has the privilege, has the opportunity to be engaged, to adapt, and to own a product from globalization. But the equity there is not all of the people can afford. So why it leads to massive inequality? Kay because of globalization, ang mga dato mosamot og kadato, dahil ang mga pobre mas mapobre pa. So nga naman, it's because sa pag-aray sa machineries, daghang mga pobre ang nawadag trabaho. Kay imbis nga ilahan trabaho mapulihan nag mga machines, for example ani is harvester. Sa mga farmer mawadag trabaho, kay ang mga big companies nga gaon sa mga farm is nagapalit nag harvester para sa paspas nga flow sa money, kay mas paspas man mo harvest ang harvester. The next is gentrification. So what is gentrification? Gentrification is a process where wealthier people move an urban neighborhood, leading to poverty values of the people. So a lower value place converted into higher value place. So nga naman kay ang kanang nga lugar makit-ana sa mga entrepreneur o kuan o kaning potential nga pwede tukuran og business, pwede may mong tourist spot. So mga entrepreneur mga magbalhin di ang nga lugar antod niya kana nga lower value place may mong high value place. Therefore ang mga tao diya nga may mo ang global city, then mo expensive na ang living cost. Dayon tong mga tao nga namuya diya daan is mapugos og displace or magbalin sa lugar nga ma-afford ra nila. So mo na gentrification, paghawa sa mga tao sa isa ka lugar og kuan the lower value place turned into higher value place. Mo ang gentrification. Then last is shrinking of middle class in globalization. So nganong gagamay man ang middle class sa globalization, di ba? Natoy lower class, middle class ug higher class. So nganong gamay ang middle class? It's because some of them is modato na maingon na sa higher class, but most of them is makuan na kining padulong na sa lower class. Kay kato lagi nga mga wad-an sila trabaho because of globalization, because of the rising of machineries, mo na gagamiton sa mga companies or mga corporations nga mag-operate sa ilahang mga businesses. Kaya ron nga paspas ang flow sa money, kay mas dali man trabaho ang machinery. So katong mga nabadag trabaho mo samot jud ka pobre, kay ang lugar mosamot og ka dato, so mas mahal ang living cost nya nangabata ba sila trabaho. So moto ang shrinking of middle class. So that's all for my topic, and thank you for listening.